I always, used drugs or alcohol or drinking like any normal person from high school. There's no addiction in my family at all. Everyone is completely naive from it. My life was planned out for me. I have a very privileged life. I have everything, all the money in the world, all the love. My parents have been married for years. Never really had any trauma until I remembered later on in therapy. And I used to take a lot of sleeping medication to help me sleep. I took it for 20 years. I even took it through my pregnancy. When I got pregnant, my marriage started falling apart. I started to take pills all throughout the day. They made me feel great. It got to the point where he would be working so much, gone for a month at a time, and I had a baby and I was postpartum. I was 225 pounds when I was pregnant. Half my hair had burnt off from a straightener that I did before I got pregnant. I was retaining so much water. I had a cast on my foot because I was so heavy. So I lost all my weight. I used some drugs also to help me do that because, being thin is so important for me and my family. I remember we'd gotten divorced, and I had someone deliver some cocaine to my house, and my ex-husband came to the house to check the mail. He wasn't living there anymore, and there was an envelope with cocaine in it. And he freaked out and called his buddy who worked for the DEA, and because he was going to send me to jail. He goes, "Don't do that. Do not do that to Jennifer. She's the mother of your daughter. You do not want to start that kind of life with her right now. You do not want that to happen." So he called my parents. I went to my first treatment center, first one. I knew nothing about recovery or about treatment. I got there. It was a 30-day thing, like any rehab center, and they recommended me to do aftercare and all that. And I was like, I don't need that. That's ridiculous. Came back home, and very quickly after that, relapsed again. I was sent to my next treatment center. I've done equine therapy. I've done EMDR therapy. I've done all the rehab centers. I've done, all the Taekwondo stuff, acupuncture, DBT, CBT, AA, NA, cognitive, everything you could possibly imagine. And none of that worked for me. I got kicked out of 3 sober homes. I was in a homeless shelter for a while. The situation was not hitting rock bottom. It was just what they were told to do to me, which didn't work either. My parents were just like, "We don't know what to do anymore. We've cut you off, we've done this and that, we don't know what to do." I had reservations. I didn't think that I was as bad as everyone else, and it was just Ambien. My sister knew somebody who happened to know Ricard, who and Divine Intervention, somehow we got together. And he came to see me, and I was like, "I'm not doing treatment anymore. I'm not doing it. It doesn't work for me, And Ricard was the first one that said, "I get it. It doesn't work for everyone." And it was the first time that someone actually understood, where I'm coming from, and explained to my parents all of the things we did, why go do it again, especially if I don't want to, So my relationship started with him, and he introduced me to you. I think the difference for me was, first of all, getting treatment over time while being in society, not being shut away from society. Being able to be in society and live your life normally and be in therapy and treatment together at the same time is a blessing. Because when you're shipped off somewhere away from society, then you are out in society, but you haven't been there, and you have all these tools that you're supposed to implement in your life, right? And then do all these other things, and then you have all these triggers. It's like, how can you deal with it? How can you, it's impossible. For me it was, especially when I wasn't convinced. I had reservations, you know. I'm not an addict. I'll play it off until they calm down, and then I'll do what I want to do. And since I started the infusions and the pushes, and meeting with you regularly, I have gotten off almost. I used to be on antidepressants for years. I don't take any of that. I did get my meds regulated. When I have a session coming up with you, like, I'm counting the seconds, because you make me see things in a completely different way, you know, a different view of the situation, and it just takes away all that anger and anxiety that is unnecessary to continue to live happy and to move on. You know, that's the thing, is that I finally have moved on. I was so stuck. The way I think, the way I view people, and the way that I take things is completely different than the person I was. I mean, it blows my mind how my awareness of things that I learned from you, talking to you, and when I talk about it to other people, you know, like living out of your heart, not in your head, and always out of love, you know, it kind of sounds, you know, almost like a religious type thing, and, you know, like a Bible beating type thing, and that I'm not a religious person at all, but it works. I do get angry, I do get mistakes, I do make mistakes, and I do forget, and I do get in my head a lot, and I have so many resentments, you know, towards people. It's easier for me to let it go, and I don't. And I just, when things happen, I think about them first before I react. So I am rebuilding my life, and I'm really excited about it. And I remember my grandmother told me once, she goes, you know, when you find yourself, your sense of self, and you know, I was like, okay, finding myself, what does that mean? No one knows what finding myself means. I mean, really. She goes, there's no one that's going to take it away from you. You wait. And now I understand what she meant. I'm happy within. I feel good. My energy is good. People notice it. I'm more aware of what I do want in my life. And I want to find someone who is responsible, independent, you know, loving, has good fundamental values or the same ones. And how am I going to find that person if I don't have those qualities myself?